You know that look, right? You're eating dinner, and there they are. Those big, pleading eyes, the little nose nudging your hand. And it is so hard to say no. Because, let's be honest, we see sharing our food as sharing our love. But what if that loving gesture was actually a huge mistake? Okay, let's get into it.
It's a really tough question to ask, but it's the one we have to face. Because a lot of the most common foods we have in our homes, the stuff we give them without even a second thought, can cause anything from a little tummy ache to total organ failure. Seriously, the line between a loving treat and a real tragedy can be terrifyingly thin. And this quote, wow, this just gets right to the very heart of the problem, doesn't it? This came from a woman whose beagle ended up at the emergency vet just from licking a mac and cheese plate clean. Her story just perfectly captures that painful gap between what we intend to do, give love, and the damage it can actually cause.
All right, so first up, let's be clear. This isn't just about what's in your pantry or on your plate. The dangers can be hiding in places we'd never even think to look. You know, like on a simple walk in the woods or even in your own backyard. Let's look at a couple of these threats that are literally hiding in plain sight.
I mean, just look at how fast things can go wrong here. For Max the Golden Retriever, it was just one wrong sniff, one curious bite of a mushroom on a walk. For Luna, it was just chewing on a plant in her own yard. These aren't some rare exotic poisons, you know. They're common plants that have toxins our dogs' bodies which are just built so differently from ours, they simply can't handle them.
Okay, so now let's head inside, into the kitchen. This is where most of these accidents tend to happen. We are surrounded by stuff every single day that seems totally harmless to us. But for our dogs, they can get a really big deal.
This list might honestly surprise you. Nutmeg, that spice you sprinkle on things, it has this compound called myricetin. For a dog, it can totally mess with their central nervous system, even cause hallucinations. And avocados, they have a toxin called persin. It's fine for us, but it's not for them. And of course, that pit is a massive choking hazard. And then you've got raw bread dough. Get this, it can actually expand and start to ferment inside a dog's warm stomach, which causes this awful, painful bloating and can even lead to alcohol poisoning. It's wild.
So we've all seen a dog just happily chomping on a piece of fallen fruit. It seems so natural, right? But with stone fruits, you know, like peaches or plums, the danger isn't just that they might choke on the pit. No, it's something way worse hiding inside. Yep, cyanide. Now, it's there in pretty small amounts, but if a dog manages to chew and crack that pit open, it can release enough of the poison to cause serious harm. And it's just a perfect example of how something that seems so healthy and natural can be hiding a really potent danger inside.
And you know, the dangers are always evolving with our lifestyles. A spilled energy drink isn't just a sticky mess anymore. That intense concentration of caffeine is basically poison to a dog's heart. And the words sugar-free, that should be a huge red flag. A dachshund in one story had seizures after eating just one sugar-free muffin that was made with xylitol. You have to check the labels on that stuff.
Okay, this next part, this is maybe the toughest one to talk about because it's about the food we share right from our own plates. That little act of connection, of sharing our favorite comfort food, well, it can unfortunately be the most dangerous thing of all.
I mean, what could possibly seem more harmless than this? It's warm, it's cheesy, dogs go crazy for the smell. It feels like the ultimate loving treat. But for a dog's digestive system, it's basically a perfect storm of fat, salt, and dairy that they're just not built to process.
This is what it can cost. $3,000. That was the vet bill for that beagle owner we mentioned earlier. That one little gesture of love, letting your dog lick the plate, led to a terrible case of pancreatitis, which is this incredibly painful and life-threatening inflammation of the pancreas.
And what about the classic dog treats, like giving them a bone or some fat trimmings? Well, cooked bones can splinter into little shards almost like glass and cause all sorts of internal tearing and bleeding. And those rich fat trimmings, like the bacon fat that sent a dog named Bruno to the ER, can just completely overwhelm a dog's pancreas. Their bodies aren't designed for a super high-fat meal, and it can trigger that same horrible pancreatitis.
And you know, some dangers aren't immediate. They're sneaky. They build up over a long time. There's this story about Milo, a dog who was secretly being fed a little spoonful of canned tuna every day by his 10-year-old owner, who just adored him. But over time, the mercury and all the salt and oils in the tuna built up in his system, and it caused chronic, irreversible damage to his brain. It's just a heartbreaking reminder that even small, repeated mistakes can have absolutely devastating results down the line.
So after hearing all these warnings, what's the big takeaway here? It's not about being scared of everything.
It's about changing our whole perspective. It's about understanding that our main job is to protect them, not just to please them in the moment.
This right here is the whole point. Saying no when those big, sad eyes are staring up at you, it isn't mean. You're not withholding love from them. It is the ultimate act of love because you're protecting them from a danger that they just can't possibly understand.
So what do? It's actually pretty simple. First, just know the risks. Keep this list in the back of your mind. Second, be proactive about it. Keep dangerous foods secured, off the coffee table, out of reach. And third, practice saying no with love, and then give them a dog-safe treat instead. So really think about it. The next time your best friend looks up at you while you're eating dinner, what are you going to do? Are you going to give in and slip them that piece of fat from your plate? Or are you going to give them a good scratch behind the ears and the security of knowing that you are their ultimate protector?